Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days for today's video. Day 10 will take us to the 18th of September and we'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensembles, maybe until around a couple of weeks. We'll have a look at the CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks, which will get us into the early part of October. I'll get on with that for you in a moment. I want to say thank you so much to our latest channel member. Thank you so much to Proctor Anthony Free. Thank you so much to Proctor Anthony Free for becoming a channel member for GavsWeatherVids. That's absolutely incredible. Thank you so much, dear Matt. If you'd like to become a channel member for GavsWeatherVids, all you need to do is click the join button and it'll take you to another page where you see what benefits you get for becoming a channel member, and you can sign up on that page as well. Obviously, I've been keeping a very close eye on developments in terms of Her Majesty the Queen and her health issues and problems today. So if there's any further developments, then keep an eye on the community page and also social media channels to see how that will impact GavsWeatherVids and what we'll be doing subsequently. And of course, thoughts and prayers and best wishes to the Queen and the royal family as well, obviously. Right, so we're going to begin in the tropical Atlantic. So we've got 4 interest areas at the moment. We've got a yellow X down here, which is disturbance 2 with a 0% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, but a 30% chance in the next 5 days. We've got a red X just here. That looks like it's going to become our next tropical storm. That has a 70% chance of cyclone formation in the next 2 days, a 70% chance in the next 5 days. We've got tropical storm Danielle, giving maximum sustained winds of 70 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 976 millibars, and Danielle is moving northeastwards at 16 miles per hour. Clicking on Danielle, we can see that this is going to be going post-tropical at any point, really. The current position is just there, will be post-tropical later today, and then we'll head off towards Portugal as a post-tropical storm and depression hitting the coast of Spain and Portugal sometime through the early part of next week. And then we also have Hurricane Earl, which is currently giving maximum sustained winds of 105 miles per hour with a minimum central pressure of 965 millibars. Clicking on Earl and going here, we can see this is going to be a major hurricane imminently, if it isn't already. Major Hurricane Earl moving northeastwards over the next few days. Will go post-tropical sometime later in the weekend and through the early part of next week. If we go to discussion, we can see that this is going to power up to 130 miles per hour, maximum sustained winds, and that is category 4, I think. That's a category 4 hurricane that we have there. So very, very, very significant hurricane now, Hurricane Earl. Of course, this is going to be pushing just to the west of Bermuda. There's Bermuda just there, so this storm will be pushing to the west. They will feel the impacts of Earl, even if they don't get a direct hit. Keeping a close eye on what's happening in the tropical Atlantic over the next few days and weeks and months, of course, as we move into the peak hurricane season. Changing temperature is currently sounding 18.1, which is 4.5 degrees above average. That is provisional to the 7th, to yesterday, to the 7th of September. Still above 18 degrees. That may go under 18 degrees when this updates tomorrow. Very hot September so far, though. We're going to get hot again through the early part of next week, actually. These are the GFS of air temperature and precipitation ensembles for the next couple of weeks. Look at Romford in Essex today, so Ridline is the 3rd-year upper air temperature average for Romford, and we're nearly on with the upper air temperature at the moment, but look, there's another big old temperature spike coming early next week. We've had these so often through this very hot summer. We've got another one here, even though we're in September. Big old push up in the upper air temperatures. It's going to depend on cloud amounts and whether there's any precipitation and you know, whether there's much wind, whether we can reach 30 degrees or not. It does get harder every day that goes by now, it's getting harder to reach 30 degrees. But we know that we can get the temperature, to the mid-30s in September, has happened in recent years. So we're just going to wait and see how hot it gets through Monday and Tuesday next week. But certainly the upper air temperatures are looking remarkably hot. They do come down through the second half of next week, so there is a cool down in the second half next week, and then into the second half of September, hovering quite close to average with those upper air temperature. Precipitation anomalies are a little bit on the are a little bit wet at the moment, so a little bit on the wet side right now, but it looks like it's going to be a drier interlude over the weekend, so you get a couple of days of drier weather during Saturday and Sunday, possibly into Monday, and then after that it looks like it goes quite unsettled again actually through next week, with further precipitation to come. Temperature anomalies from the 8th to 16th of September are a little bit warmer than normal, and precipitation anomalies from the 8th to 16th of September wetter than average for more southern and southeastern areas, driving average in the north and west of the country. The latest info on that from earthnorthschool.net shows that we've got an area of low pressure sitting just to where it's actually sort of more or less in over Wales now. This low pressure has been just west southwest throughout the week, so now moving across England and Wales, taking precipitation with it. If we drag this around, we can see that we've got Danielle just here, so that tropical storm now, Danielle, and this of course is Hurricane Earl. This is the one that is a major hurricane, or will be a major hurricane imminently. And so if we zoom in, you can see a very, 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 very nicely defined eye of the storm there. Wow, 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 look at that. Very, very, very significant Hurricane Earl. And this is going to reach Category 4 status in the next day or so. Imagine being under the middle of that. Right, so let's go through the charts then. This is how the UK Met Euro run is looking at midnight on Sunday, with low pressure just to our west, high pressure to our east. We're drawing up a southerly wind. It should be mostly dry, I think, over weekend, but these low systems will bring rain into the north and west as we progress through Sunday. The south and southeast should stay mainly dry. Early next week, we push a trough through the country. Ahead of that, it does get quite hot, and then that pushes away a ridge build down from the northwest, and that will bring cooler air back in from the north. We finish up under a ridge of high pressure icon, looking like that, with again low pressure in the Atlantic, high pressure is over into the east of the country on Sunday, into the early part of next week. Perhaps we don't draw up quite as much warmth into England and Wales as some of the model output, but I think the southeast corner does get quite warm. Meanwhile, further northwest, so got an area of high pressure to northwest Scotland, and that's pulling in some cooler air from the north and from the northeast. So through the middle part of next week, we're under that area of high pressure. That's quite a cool ridge, though. There'll be some relatively cool nights with that, I think, and that high pressure keeps it mostly dry up into 180 hours, which gets us to this time next week, midday on Thursday. The GFS midnight run, again with low pressure just out to our west, high pressure to the over and to the east of the country on Sunday, a little bit of a ridge, and then for the early part of next week, got a show of low pressure down off the coast of Portugal. That is remains of Danielle, of course, and ahead of that, that's drawing up some considerable warmth up the western side of Europe. That warmth gets out of the way by Thursday, and high pressure to the northwest will start to drag in cooler air from the north and from the northeast, when high pressure will sit over the top of the country over the weekend, 17th, 18th of September. Bring quite a bit of dry weather with it, but again, it's quite a cool ridge map with some relatively cool overnight periods, you would have thought. Into XA range with the GFS midnight run, unsettled to the north and west, low pressure coming in from off the Atlantic, but to the south and east, there's going to be a lot of dry and relatively warm weather continuing. The GFS 6Z again shows that we're drawing up like southerly on Sunday, and that continues into the early part of next week as well. Low pressure off the coast of Spain and Portugal, bringing up this very warm, quite hot southerly or southeast wind. Look at the upper air temperatures. We do get plus 15 Celsius iceberg through there across England and Wales, plus 20 Celsius iceberg just over the other side of the channel. Also a little bit unstable though, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday we could bring more heavy rain, possibly thunder in across England and Wales. And then very different with a 6A compared to the midnight run. No ridge of high pressure as we go into the weekend of 17th, 18th September. Actually, we bring low pressure in from off the Atlantic with cloud and outbreaks of rain, bringing, really quite unsettled conditions. And probably quite cool conditions as well. Beyond that, as you enter extended range, high pressure and reaching through the country and up to Scandinavia, mainly dry and that ridge of high pressure, but probably a little bit on the cool side. And that's how it looks as we get to the end of the GFS 6Z run, which again gets 24th of September, high pressure ridges through the country. GM, looking like that. Again, we've got low pressure out to our west, a ridge over and to the east of the country on Sunday. And then through the open of next week, we bring up this warm to hot southerly wind. Does look quite unstable, though, with low pressure out to west, pushing that heat and humidity away by the middle of next week, but turning things more unsettled as well. So by day 10, the GM, we finish up under an area of low pressure, perhaps bring showers or longer spells of rain. Have got a little bit of northern blocking involved with that as well. And you'll notice a bit of a cold shot from the north up over Scandinavia. Let's have a look at the upper air temperatures we've had. There's some quite cold air digging into the far north of Scandinavia. We're seeing a few of these cold northerly shots into far northern parts of Europe over the past few weeks. I say no more than that, but it is interesting that whilst we in Western Europe have been very, very warm over the past few months, it's not necessarily been the case elsewhere in Northern Europe. And then ECM WF looks like this, with low pressure once more out to west on Sunday, a ridge over to the east of the country, and we draw up these very warm southerly, southeasterly winds. They bring heat and humidity northwards as well. And then low pressure develops out to west as we go through Wednesday, bringing heavy rain and possibly even some thunder with it. Look, the upper air temperatures, though, plus 15 Celsius iceberg in the country, plus 20 Celsius iceberg is just off the coast of East Anglia. That really is remarkable for the 14th of September. But then low pressure pushing through the country. Second half of next week, turn things significantly more unsettled and clears all of that heat and humidity away. We finish up with a ridge just out to our west, and the upper air temperatures looking considerably cooler. This is a precipitation forecast based on that ECM run from tometeo.com. So plenty of showers initially, but drier over the weekend away from the northwest, where there will be some outbreaks of rain. And then into the open next week, of course, it turns much hotter, but that could involve some thunder and heavy rain pushing up from the south. So there is certainly the hint there, anyway, that there could be some big thunderstorms through the early to middle part of next week. Before that gets out of where this ridge builds in off the Atlantic. That turns things dry up. I'm going to pause the video there, and we'll have a look at, or I'll have a look and see whether the ECM ensembles have updated yet. The Icelandic Metos, they hadn't updated before I started the video. Just check one more time. If not, then we won't be able to include those in this video. Okay, we've still not had an update from the Icelandic Metos, but I can show you the clusters from ECMWF themselves. So this is how, or these are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles for day 10, which will get us to the 18th of September. So 20 members of the ECM ensembles showing high pressure to the northern UK over Scandinavia and bringing the wind in from an easterly direction. It can be mainly dry, but it could be a little bit on the cooler side. We have 17 members of the ECM ensembles at day 10 with high pressure out to our west and northwest. A trough of low pressure is here across the northwest Europe, and that brings the wind in from a northerly direction. Quite cool and showery with that. And then we have got 14 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure in from off the Atlantic, being unsettled weather in line with what the GFS 6Z is showing. Some of the options, are variable. They look a little bit on the changeable side, I have to say, for day 10. There's a chance we might build up that Scandinavian high, but if we do, it could be quite a cool ridge. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This gets us to the 23rd of September. We have 25 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure just to our north and bringing the wind from off the Atlantic. So that's still a little bit cool, a little bit changeable, but might not be that cool actually. That could be a little bit warmer, as we could just draw up some warmer air from the south actually with that. We've also got 13 hours of the ECM ensemble showing high pressure to the south and low pressure to the north. We're flat and westerly with that. We'll bring remote and settled weather to the northern half of the country. And then we've got 13 just here that look very unsettled for the 23rd of September. Low pressure just dominating across most parts of northern Europe. That is the coolest and wettest option. A range of options there, and I think it all hinges on the placement and movement of the tropical storms and possibly hurricanes and whatnot. You know, that creates that added level of uncertainty all of the time. Finally, the 5-inch millibar heights anomaly broken down into week period from CFSB2. This is week 1, taking us from the 8th to the 14th of September. Below average heights over northern West Europe, above average heights out across Greenland and Iceland. Jet stream is pushed down here somewhere, so that does look pretty unsettled. Week 2 is going to be the 15th to 21st of September. Again, low pressure out to the Atlantic, high pressure towards Spain and Portugal. Again, that looks quite mixed. He's trying to build up a Scandinavian high bow, but I suspect that's going to be bringing in rather showery conditions from off the Atlantic, really. Week 3, big change though. This is the 22nd, 28th of September, with high pressure right in over the top of the country, mostly dry and quite warm with that. Week 4 goes unsettled again. 29th of September, 5th of October, high pressure pulls back out into the Atlantic, low pressure sinks southwards across the UK and Ireland, so it goes cooler and wetter as we get into the opening days of October. And we're done. If you enjoyed this video, please can you like, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for doing that. Drop a comment. Let us know what you about this and all of our videos. And don't forget to tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. And we thank you so very much for doing that. Right then, that's it for today's videos. Tomorrow we are scheduled to have a 6 AM upload, January, Friday, and a 10 to 14 day. Depending on the news coming out of Buckingham Palace, that might change. So I'll let everybody know on the community page and also on the social media accounts, you know, what's happening. If anything should change over the next few hours. You enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and for this video, that's all for now, and thanks for watching.